4 years. Peter Parker has been living a life where no one knows him, no one remembers him for 4 years. And now we have a trailer in front of us. On the first watch, you say, wow. On the second, you say, wait a minute. And on the third, you actually start noticing things. In this video, we're going to break down those details one by one. Fair warning, watch until the end because I saved the most critical detail for last. Let's make one thing clear first. Marvel and Sony are playing games with their trailers. This isn't a conspiracy theory, it's a proven fact. Multiple different versions were shared across various Sony accounts. One version shows Peter with web shooters on his wrists, another doesn't. In Homecoming, there was a scene of Spider-Man and Iron Man flying together in the trailer. It was never even filmed. The costume switch in Far From Home's charity scene. And No Way Home, we all remember, the invisible figure kicking Lizard. So we need to move forward accepting this. Some of what we see in the trailer is intentionally incomplete, altered, or staged to mislead us. Analyzing a trailer without knowing this is like trying to navigate with only half a map. The first thing that stands out in the opening seconds of the trailer is the costume. Does it look cheap? Yes, and that's exactly the feeling they're going for. Peter Parker is a poor kid. For years, how does this boy make such a high-end costume was a central criticism. Now we're seeing a costume Peter actually sewed himself, with back details reminiscent of the Amazing Spider-Man, organic and realistic. But here's the real critical point. In later scenes of the film, the costume is CGI, meaning there's a second costume being deliberately hidden. They did the same thing in No Way Home, which means Peter is going to go through a transformation, and with that transformation comes a new suit. This is the trailer's biggest question. Peter is shooting webs without the mechanical web shooters on his wrists, just like in the Tobey Maguire universe. So how is this possible? The Bruce Banner scene summarizes everything. The DNA is mutating. The word mutant is being used this directly and openly in the MCU for the first time. This is not a coincidence. In the comics, spiders go through 3 life cycles. The spider is left vulnerable between these cycles, but for the spider that survives this process, it is a rebirth. Peter waking up in the cocoon scene points exactly to this. So what triggered this mutation? 2 possibilities. Possibility 1, the Void event from Thunderbolts. Peter may have been pulled into the Void while intervening in that chaos. The Void wasn't just a physical space, it was the center of traumas and fears. Peter may have been forced to face his past enemies, his dead aunt, the MJ that doesn't remember him, and that confrontation may have broken him, but also transformed him. Possibility 2, the piece of Venom left behind in the MCU after No Way Home, but we'll get into that in detail in a moment. In the trailer, there's a woman with psychic powers being held in a secret facility. Everyone is saying Jean Grey, and they're probably right. But the real question is this actually the MCU's own Jean Grey, or someone transferring in telepathically from the X-Men universe? Because in the comics, Jean Grey can transfer mind to mind. Charles Xavier could do this too. If this character really is Jean and her powers are unleashed, she could trigger dormant mutant genes worldwide. This could be Marvel's plan to integrate the X-Men into the MCU through a Spider-Man film. And if so, this movie carries historic significance. The scene where Jean takes control of Hulk is critical for this exact reason. Mr. Negative can also control people. Giving 2 characters the same power is not a coincidence. Mind control is going to be a central theme in this film. You might ask what Frank Carter is doing in a Spider-Man film, but it actually makes perfect sense. Peter is a street-level hero now. No Stark tech, no shield support. And facing him are the Hand Ninjas, Scorpion, Boomerang, and Tarantula, and more. The Hand situation is interesting because they were destroyed in Defenders. So who are these people? Most likely a fake organization, just like the fake 10 rings in the Iron Man films. It seems someone is using the Hand's identity. Scorpion should have a scar on his face from the ferry accident in Homecoming. The only thing that could heal that scar is the Venom symbiote. And the actor playing Scorpion sharing Venom imagery on social media was probably not for nothing. There's also talk of Punisher using the War Machine armor. Punisher and Spider-Man side by side against damage control. That's a very powerful street-level dynamic. Now, let's get to the most debated topic. In the trailer, there's a scene where something jumps out of the old woman and into a soldier. Most people are saying Venom. Peter's eyes going dark also seems to support it. They even show something black and symbiotic looking inside Peter in one scene. It gives the exact same feeling as the scene when they look inside Eddie in the Venom film. But be careful, the trailer may be deliberately making us think this. There's a detail in Peter's eye in the cocoon scene. When you zoom in, you see MJ. If there was Venom inside him, that scene would carry a different meaning. But seeing MJ likely symbolizes Peter's mental state and psychological collapse. In my view, based on the trailer, these powers are not connected to Venom, they're connected to Peter's own mutation. But Venom will definitely appear in the film. The question is, will it start with Peter or with Scorpion? Fighting a supervillain is hard, but watching the person you love be happier without you, that's far more devastating. The man next to MJ in the trailer is most likely Paul Robin. In the comics, he's MJ's new boyfriend, the person who steps into Peter's life. If this character is portrayed genuinely good in the film, Peter's real battle won't be on the battlefield, it'll be inside himself. Think back to Spider-Man 2. Peter's powers were weakening because of his psychological state. The same dynamic could be at play here. No Way Home was an emotional farewell. This is a new beginning, but not an ordinary one. We're going deep into the core dynamics of MCU Spider-Man. We're seeing how Spider-Man's DNA actually works, that what makes Peter who he is isn't his intelligence, but his senses and instincts, and those instincts keep his body standing even when his mind isn't. Organic webs, mutation, the Venom possibility, Jean Grey, Grey Hulk, Punisher, all these pieces seem to be packed into a single film. And if they really are, this will either be the best Spider-Man film in the MCU, or this is where the Avengers Doomsday connection gets built. What do you think? Will Venom start with Peter or Scorpion? Is Jean Grey really coming from the X-Men universe? Let's meet in the comments.